Welcome back to 0 to 60, where the three bearded blokes are back yet again. We definitely didn't record our other episode, only yesterday. So, but yeah, how are you two doing, chaps? To be back yet again.
I am perfectly fine, off an armory win, all good.
Pretty much the same as yesterday, yeah, apart from obviously going to play an armory and getting beat up by Liam's horrible Briar. But what can you do?
Yeah, this is why I preferred him being on our team, because we didn't have to get beaten up by it.
I mean, to be fair, maybe if I was playing a full strength deck, he might have lost it. But yeah, whatever.
We'll see. we shall see when that happens, shall we?
Yeah, sounds good.
Well,
Speaking of which, we're on the subject of Uprising, right?
We are.
Yes, we are.
How was Friday? I know that it's not legal.
I mean, are you trying to imply, sir, that I've been playing Fi at a local armory?
Well, George, let's face it, George is used to playing illegal decks.
I mean, this is true.
We made up our own rules, right? We said that you can.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's fine. I know it wasn't a fully fledged deck, but
it wasn't.
How did it feel?
I really enjoyed playing Fi today. It was a lot of fun. I mean, he's just stupid aggro, right? I mean, I had some absolutely nuts turns. I'm sure Brooks can attest to that one. I know there was some stupid shit did against you.
Yeah, when you get a Phoenix Flame coming in for 4, this is 4. We go again for 3. It's like this isn't fair. You should at least be on like lower life or something to get go again for 4.
No. It's just nice and easy. Just play a bunch of stuff. Have a Tiger Stripe Shuriko, the Shunko, whatever it is that buffs it. A couple other good cards. A Spreading Flame. It's
a couple of small
nice,
bits,
mate. Just a few little buffs. Before you know it, it's coming in for 4. But yeah, and that was even with you blocking all of it. You didn't even let me trigger Mask. It was very rude.
And well, it's just my poor Bolton deck was sat there going, "I'll block. It's fine. It'll end at some point. I'll charge a bit." And then by the time I got to the stage of I blocked out, got to enough charge in my soul, and then then Luminid, I had about 2 cards left in my deck.
Yeah, that's true. And then I was saved by the brand new Ninja Fridge.
Yeah, I mean, I did not, obviously going into what we're going to talk about very shortly. Yeah, the fact that blocks for 2, and you've got the Mask that blocks for 2, you turn into a warrior.
Wasn't even running the Draconic chess piece that also would block to 2.
Oh, that's
for 3.
Yeah. So. Well, I think that's part of what we can discuss today. So, I think let's go through each class. I think just talk about a bit because we've had a bit of experience playing with them with the world premiere and a bit of draft, and obviously we've also done some messing about on TTS and stuff like that for. Some of the decks. So, I mean, I guess starting off alphabetically on the heroes, what do we think of Dromai, chaps?
Go on, Liam. You go first as our dragon aficionado.
I mean, I don't know. Dromai, it's a bit hard to tell so far. Like, in Madrid, I playing against it in draft. It felt way better than... We've obviously threw some decks together during the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I played that, it just felt really meh. And then, like, the play style and stuff, when I'm playing against it in draft, it felt a lot better. And then tested a little bit in CC yesterday, George. That's correct, right?
Yes,
in TTS. And it felt good, but it felt really bad into Fi. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Fi is going to be a good matchup for Dromai. Having allies on the board just seems like a liability against a ninja.
It just free mash triggers everywhere. It's like, I just kill my ally and draw a card. You treat yourself to draw a card.
Oh, I loved it. I was really enjoying it just because it was a wonderful puzzle for me to work out the most efficient way to get a free mask draw.
Yeah, just hit face and set up a kill on a dragon with a Phoenix Flame.
Yeah, exactly. Just to do it the most efficient way possible to maximise the damage on you and still get a draw.
Yeah, when you end up when it's a Phoenix Flame into just an Aether Ashwing, it feels really good to just get a free card from something you've recurred from your graveyard anyway.
And it just also was like very much punished. I think you got punished for just not blocking a first attack for 1. And then it was like, okay, well, I'll kill this big dragon you put out, and then finish off an Aether Ashwing, get a draw, and then just carry on my turn like nothing had happened.
But obviously, the main thing about Dromai is, I think the thing I'm going to find interesting about her is actually trying to construct the deck. I was doing a bit of theory crafting earlier, and the ratios I think are going to be really hard to work out. She really wants to pitch reds to get Ash. She really wants to play red cards to give her dragons go again. All the invokes, and obviously she's got some of the big scary dragons like Dracona Optimi, Tomultai, and Dominia. I know there's a pronunciation article, but I can't pronounce words at the best of times.
Dominia.
These like sort of big bombs, but like you say, they're probably only going to last a turn.
Yeah, I think in the wrong matchups for certain, right? That they're probably not going to last too long. I mean, maybe against some heroes, you'll just have too many out. If they don't attack, they don't go wide, then you might be able to keep them out longer. But some of these, to be fair, they don't need many. I mean, I know in the limited testing we did, like when you got the chance to invoke Tomultai, Liam, like that was incredibly impactful. It only survived a turn, but there was nothing I could do about it for that one turn. It came in with the attack. The effect triggered whether it hit or not, and just basically got the choice to blow up my equipment if you'd have flipped 2 reds.
Unfortunately, I seen a blue. I think blowing up Mash Trigger might have been a completely different game.
Yeah, it absolutely could have been. So there's definitely some things in there, particularly with the legendary dragons. I guess it's just a bit of a shame for Dromai, at least, that they are legendary and that you can only have one. And it's just, do you see it? Don't you in that 60-card deck?
I mean, obviously she's got all the other supporting dragons, which some of them I really like. Some of them are clearly going to be sideboard cards. I mean, when we did a little bit of testing with Themai into Icelander, it basically just killed Icelander. Where can't play on their turn.
Yeah, some of them do seem very impactful. That one probably doesn't do a lot against some heroes, right? But I think there's some that are just good, regardless. Kyloria, obviously the one where you steal an item, and if you can't, you draw a card, so it's just Snatch, because it comes in 4. That just seems universally great. The one that kind of comes in for 6, and does 3 Arcane if it hits.
Vinsecarai.
Vinsecarai, that's the one, yeah. That just seems amazing. I know it's... it costs 3, which may end up being a bit expensive, but...
I mean, 9 for 3 is good if it hits, right?
Even if it only lasts a turn, right? It's insanely good. Just seems fantastic. Some of these dragons, like, they're just going to fit in every matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that I'm really not sure about is when you build, because all of the invoke cards are red. I don't know how many dragons are going to be too many dragons where you're just seeing too many, and how you're paying for the more expensive ones. Obviously, she's got some of the really cool cards, like I think Rake the Embers, which is obviously then playing more into the Aether Ashwings and having lots and lots of small dragons, and a bit more like Spectral Shields, but like we kind of alluded to, then that gets absolutely hammered by something that goes wide. Especially if it gets triggers off hits rather than hitting heroes.
I think the trouble that Dromai might have at the moment is she's going to struggling to go wide, because obviously they are going to be able to kill her dragons and still come at her. Yeah. But also, anyone who goes particularly tall like Guardian is also going to be able to pop a lot of these very easily. So I don't think we're quite sure yet how that's going to play.
I think someone said it tonight at the Armory. Feels like Dromai is what Prism would be like without Spectra, because obviously you can just hit the dragons again and again and again and again and not lose your turn. I mean, obviously it's not doing damage to the hero, but you're fundamentally just stopping their game plan, and you can't protect the dragons.
So what I'm hearing is it ended up being fair.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. Exactly.
Yeah, you look at. Like, I'm really not sure quite how Dromai's going to play out, but I'm looking forward to playing her and seeing getting to this state where you end up with a load of dragons and just a really cool looking board.
I think she's just going to make a half decent mid range deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be meta defining, but I'm actually quite looking forward to an Illusionist not being, one of the top decks in the meta, which will be nice.
I was super skeptical at first. I was like, these Ashwings are just going to be like Spectral Shield, and You just got to counter Guardian, and then you realise that you can just pop everything at the turn ends because Phantasmal Footsteps doesn't work, and then you just slam him in the face.
I think that was the difference, though, right? Is that I think all of us were really expecting some sort of Phantasmal Footsteps like effect for allies, and when that never appeared, it just meant that she kind of dropped a level. That alone, that the lack of existence of that effect makes a Guardian matchup all of a sudden very winnable.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the one dragon that can give her the first dragon loses Phantasm. Then you've also got Passing Mirage will still do that as well.
Oh yeah,
Miragi, that's the dragon. So she's still got some play there with the first dragon can lose it, but like you say, and I mean, I'd probably say it's probably the most disappointing, the most disappointing L in the set, I think, in Ghostly Touch. I think it's going to look gorgeous in cold foil, but I just don't see how it fits into sort of that deck. It seems far more of a Prism card than it does a Dromai card.
I know it's one of those, like, the matchups it's good in is the matchups that it's not going to get anything in because it's just going to get popped anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so whoever's popping your auras, whether it's not auras, phantasms, which realistically is going to be your guardians and your brutes, they're just going, like I say, they're just going to pop it anyway.
Yeah, I think the only way you can possibly do it is try and line that up with something that will take away the phantasm. But I just don't know how that's gonna really work. I think Passing Mirage should be the only thing that would work on that itself. Just doesn't seem like a good legendary, and it's coming from somebody who pulled one at the pre-release. And on a side note, if anyone wants to buy it, hook me up. Just send me a message. But it's great, I'm sure.
Buying and selling with George, but yeah, I mean, I can see it being a decent mid-range deck. I don't think she's going to be at the top of the meta. I don't think she's going to be able to go fast enough, and I think too many of the aggro decks, whether it's going to be Fi, whether it's going to be Briars, Katsus, with all the tools they've got, I think they can just go wide enough, and because they're not losing their turn to it, she's not going to be able to get a board that sticks around long enough.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be at the top of the meta. I think I could still see her being good. I mean, I could absolutely be wrong. Maybe eat my words on that one, but I think she's got some good, solid, like small phantasm attacks, right? Like, I think this is the one that at least is pretty much a copy of Spears, but just creates ash as well when it's destroyed.
Chainbreaker Senpai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good. Some of these, other ones that are just big phantasm attacks, they're all pretty good. Obviously, they're just not as good as what Prism can do.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost the thing to always remember. This is why would you play this over Prism? I mean, outside of the fact that some people do love dragons, don't know who those people are.
It's because dragons are cool and Spectral Shields suck.
I mean, Spectral Shields do, but I think Spectra sucks more. But like I say, I can think it could be a deck that leans far more into the Ash Wings, like Skittering Sands, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd also be interested to see. I don't think I've actually seen a copy of Burn Them All hit the table yet. The Majestic Aura, that we've seen. Obviously, doesn't have Spectra, so you can't destroy it. Where they just have to then banish red cards to the graveyard each turn progressively more and more.
That card's gonna be nuts.
That does seem like it's going to be an incredibly impactful card.
I'm a bit
1 damage every time a dragon attacks, right?
Yeah.
No, it's only the first time each turn.
Yeah.
Still,
once per turn when a dragon you control attacks, if it deals 1 arcane to each opposing hero, all that UPF kind of thing is going to suddenly start seeming fun in it. Beginning the end phase, put a raise counter on, burn them all. It's also, I think, one of my favourite arts from the set. That's one I really want in foil.
I can imagine that looks very good, to be fair.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, obviously she can use the new Fabled, which, regardless of how it was revealed, I still think Blood of the Drakai is going to be really good for her to be able to just reduce some of those invoke cards, lower embers for free, that sort of thing. But like I say, I think probably a fair tier 2 deck. Probably not much more than that, unless there's something we've really, really missed, which it can happen.
Yeah. I'd like to say, don't know. I'll be interested to see what people come up with for her, but I think I agree with that.
Also, definitely want some foil the Ash tokens because they look awesome.
So many of the cold foils in this set look so good, and
Yeah.
the Ash. I think the Ash wings as well. Look.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Because we're getting alt art with the Ash's face and sunglasses up.
Yes, we got that, or just a mango sat on that piece of art.
Get signed by Maverick.
But yeah, I mean, on that, I think not on Ash, on the art. I think the art in this set is, again, it's another level. Like Scary and Silence looks really cool. It's like really Aladdin-y with the tomb of treasures and stuff like that. But I just think all the art looks really cool.
I do quite like Rate the Embers, actually, of all the random things. But yeah, a lot of the art is fantastic in this set. They've really upped their game again. The foils look amazing. On the whole,
a lot of extended arts as well, which look really nice.
That is also the nice thing of what I was going to say with when we mentioned Burn Them All before. That also does come in cold foil, so we know we're starting to see some more cold foil Majestics, which is nice to see outside of equipment and things like this, not just reserved. I mean, well, that's an illusionist one as well, but not just the illusionist auras that we've seen in the past.
Well, I think on that, we've covered enough of Dromai now. Should we move on to Fi? And obviously, George, you've had a little bit of experience with Mr. Fi ruining some people's days.
Oh, just because I survived your combo turn.
Yeah, as the resident local fire expert, let's give us your opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that. I thought you were the ninja pro. So
I am, you know.
Oh, he is. Okay, there we go. There it is. Yeah, I guess where do we want to start with Fi?
I mean, should we start with Searing Emberblade?
Yeah, I suppose that's one that I think people seem. It seems to be a bit of a point, because I must admit I was skeptical about Searing Emberblade. I'm actually really enjoying it as a card. I don't think I'd run Kodachis in Fi at the moment. As much as I thought I might end up going for more of a Rupture build, but I actually, I'm finding Searing Emberblade's doing the job quite well. Coming, just a 2 for 3 sounds obviously pretty mediocre, but they're just getting an extra Draconic Chain Link. Pretty much this will normally allow you to go and fetch a Phoenix Flame. I think it's performed pretty well so far.
Yeah, I think it surprised me because I was fully in camp. Why don't you just run Kodachis? Why would you want to pay 2 for a sword? All right, you can give it go again, probably just as easily. But having played it in the sealed and draft and having seen you play it, you really don't need the Kodachis to get to chain links, which are way beyond 4 and 5 for Rupture.
I think that's the thing. Katsu needed that, right? But Kodachis are a pretty inefficient way to push damage. They're not great. The Emberblade's nice. I think one thing that people overlook is that a lot of the effects in Fi buff it as well. Spreading Flames, which will obviously come to in a minute. Uprising, all buff attacks, not attack action cards. So a lot of these are applicable. Make it come in for 4 all of a sudden, which then becomes a fantastic rate.
It's almost like Talishar.
I know, right? Imagine Talishar that didn't break.
I mean, I was sold on Emberblade. I remember the reveal when we was around at Brooks' house, and I was like, this card's good. And then used to like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sold.
You're going to play this card, and you're not going to run Kodachis. You played this card, and you're not going to run Kodachis.
No, I'll probably still give it a go at some point. Be interested to see, but not disappointed with the Emberblade.
I think 2 for 3 is good.
And I think it kind of ties into obviously what Fi wants to do with the Phoenix Flames, which obviously his whole core mechanic is being able to just fish these bloody Phoenix Flames constantly. And I mean, I don't know how many times the old Kodachi lock seemed annoying. It's just going to be Phoenix Flame lock, and when they go, they just keep coming back.
I honestly
awful.
I honestly think it might be worse on that one, just because I don't think you get into Kodachi lock with Fi because he goes too wide. Yeah. I think once you go down to 1 health, if he comes back at you with even remotely a full hand, you're dead.
Yeah.
You can't block out like you can do against Katsu for a couple of turns until he draws a good hand. If he can activate his ability, he can probably kill you.
Yeah, and let's face it, you get something like Rise from the Ashes. Just go and get one. Give it +3. It's coming in for 4.
I think that's a good place to go to next. I mean, Rise from the Ashes, that card is nuts. I love it. It's so good. I mean, I started putting the 5 deck together this evening, knowing I had a couple of copies of those. Just basically going, do you know what? Let's put in every copy of this we can. It is, yeah, it's a great card. 0 cost. Just go get a Phoenix Flame. Give you an X attack +3. Combo's great with so many. Just, if your next attack pushes up above a break point. Yeah, it's just insane.
Oh, it's so good. And then I guess the dream is almost having, if you got 2 of those, or even just one of those, you've got a way of got another one, a way of searching from your deck. I can't remember the card, but there is one.
Flamecall Awakening.
It is exactly.
That's the Badger. And then be able to fish the other one out and then play Phoenix form.
I think the dream, to be honest, is just Liam's favourite card.
Yeah, go on, George.
No, it's your favourite card, mate. I know how much you love it. You go for it.
No, so it's not 5 specific, right? Because it's just Draconic.
It is.
Well, let's all be honest. Red Rise from the Ashes into Blazing Headlong is fucking ridiculous. 7 for 0. And pulling a fucking Phoenix Flame out of the graveyard is the combination that you want.
It is a great way to start a turn, I'm not going to lie. I was slightly disappointed, though, to find out today it wasn't a ninja attack, because I think it just kind of passed me by that it hadn't, and I realised that I couldn't do what I thought at the time was going to be an awesome combo of play Blaze Headlong without Go Again, and then
Ancestral
Empowerment it to give it Go Again and draw and get +1.
Yeah, I think if you'd done that, when I saw what you were trying to do, went oh shit, and then saw that it didn't work. I've never had relief like that. Because I mean, the matchup wasn't going well, and that would have just ruined my day.
Yeah, it would have been quite good. I'm not going to lie.
But yeah, I think that card's great. The card's great in Sealed. That card's great in Draft. Like I've got that card at the same level as like Scar for Scar and Snatch in Welcome to Wraith Draft.
Yeah.
It's that close that you draft it that early. Especially if you go into one of the Draconic heroes, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's such a fantastic card just to be able to kick off with. I think it works for either of them. I mean, obviously it's going to be absolutely at its best in Phi, but I don't think I'd be disappointed to have that in Dromai just to play out whatever your first red card is going to be, to give them to either invoking a dragon or whatever, or just coming out with it and then just getting a nice 4 attack in just to push some damage afterwards. It just seems good.
As the Briar player in the room, 0 for 4. It's good.
Yeah, you've abused those last couple of weeks.
I'm sure
It's a good effect at the weekend, I might add.
Why couldn't it be generic and I can just play it in fucking in Brian and it'd be fucking amazing?
Yeah, that's why you're not allowed it.
But to bring us back to some of the Phi cards, because we kind of end up a little bit more in Draconic, I must say, Phoenix form, it might be hard to pull off, but my God, what a card!
At what point you thought when this hits, draw 3? So let's face it, by that point they might well have blocked with their whole hand. So you are definitely getting their equipment for this.
Oh yeah, I think I haven't actually had it hit for effect yet. Just having the threat of it is nice. I think I did throw it at you in one of our testing games once, Liam, and I think on that one I did get a nice equipment block, nice and early in the game. Because you can't be letting this thing hit.
No. Was it 0 for 5 with Go Again with the draw 3 on hit? If you played 3 Phoenix Flames, is mad. Then if you want to bang on just at the end, a cheeky combustion point to banish a card from that they've tried to bloody defend with as well. It's just
This is another one I'd love to try out at some point. That thing seems insane.
Yeah, that and Liquefy is having these sort of effects in the game where it's like banishing more cards and destroying equipment, a bit like the dragon does Dominia.
Yeah.
Toltai.
With Combustion Point, I never thought I'd love an attack reaction as much that only gives +1, but that looks, at least on the face of it, to be pretty damn nasty.
I mean, it's technically like push 4, right? Because if you
play
for free, or then like even if they do like or a defense, like imagine like someone red unmovable shit. Is it defending cards?
It's
Yeah,
only
yeah,
less than the number of chain links, because if you could get up to
okay.
8 chain links, then you absolutely can
That'd be fucking
banish
disgusting.
an unmovable.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, you might genuinely be able to get over like a Guardian's Blue Staunch.
Oh, I think so.
That's reasonable. That is reasonable.
Like 6 chain links with Phi is the more I play him, it just seems very, very achievable to do on pretty much any turn.
Especially if you've got stuff like Double Strike. I know that's more of a it's not Draconic Ninja, it's Ninja, but that's going to be nutty.
Yeah. I mean, like exactly. I think that's perfectly achievable. Obviously, Double Strike, like you say, wouldn't count towards this. They do need to be Draconic chain links, but that's exactly why I'm actually one card. I think a common one that I've just slept on a little bit is Brand with Cinderclaw. I think that's actually a really good card. Nice way to start. Just only comes in for 3, but the ability to make your next attack and chain link Draconic is just very, very good. Very, very powerful.
But I think they just. I mean, I don't. Looking at what his downside could be, I know we mentioned stuff like it could be. He could be very prone to disruption because a lot of his cards are 1 or 0. But I guess we can come on to what we think of Icelander and whether she's in a place to do that, or if there is any hero who's actually going to be able to do that.
Well, I
At the
mean,
moment.
I think Icelex is definitely the Fi's going to be worst matchup. 100%.
Yeah, I think
Because-
she's probably the hero that can give the most frostbites, right?
Exactly. As like consistently do it, as long as she's drawing her arrows. I think the only way you can stop Icelex doing that is you apply so much pressure that she has to block. But I'm pretty sure that she just tanks a full Fi turn and then just makes Fi never play the game again. But
That's definitely the aim.
I think it's the only hero that could do it. I mean, Oldin probably can block Fi out. I think 100%.
Yeah, I think the Ice React particularly will probably start seeing a lot more play against Phi.
Yeah.
And then
just the fact that he's so low.
Crown and Shield versus like your Phoenix Flames. It's just going to be. I think Oldham is just naturally good against aggro, so it's not really a disruption. It's just blocking him out.
Yeah.
But I think Icelander remains to be seen. Let's say.
I do think I don't think he'll be good, but I do think Phi might have a better matchup into Oldham than Katsu does.
What makes you think that?
Just to be honest, because he doesn't rely on actually hitting as much as I think Katsu wants to. I don't think even bigger than that will necessarily be running Phi. So I mean that just takes a card out of the deck that doesn't actually require you to hit first. I think he might be able to go a little bit taller with stuff like Rise from the Ashes.
So you think not having the ability of searching on hit is the advantage?
Well, I mean, he just also doesn't. He's not relying on combo quite as much, right? Like you've just got more natural go again. That means you can go wider. Sooner or later, Katsu, you get particularly against Oldhim. I feel like you always get to a point where you need to hit to trigger to find the next piece of combo, so your chain can continue. And you can't do that against Oldhim. So I think Phi's going to be a little better at least, but I don't think he'll be good.
Yeah, that's definitely something else to try out. Let's get around to it.
Well, I think George, you just volunteered to play into Oldham, so good luck.
Definitely did not do that.
You know what's going to happen.
Oh, of course
It's happening eventually. Then we got our usual tome. I think, obviously, the first time we've had a card with the same name as the set with Uprising. Looks like it's just going to be, again, both, I think, being Draconic. I can see Dromai potentially using it as a red card with Go again. She can play first for free. Obviously, Phi using it just to give the next 4 Draconics +1. Suddenly all those Phoenix Flames are coming in even hotter.
Yeah, I mean, this seems great, right? I mean, a 0 cost 3 block applies to dragons, applies to swords, applies to anything that's vaguely an attack. Seems great.
Yeah, and then they've got the Flame Scale Furnace with obviously the new legendary chess piece to gain pitch for each red card in the pitch zone.
I must admit, I'm interested to hear what you guys think of this one because I'm really not sold on the idea of this in Phi. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about it and whether it'll see that much play.
I can see it seeing play. I mean, the fact it's a 2-block with temper,
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest advantage.
Ninjas are now getting their fridge.
They certainly are. Yeah.
I can see a world where it's probably there just as in case of emergency break glass. pitch a red, a couple of reds, you suddenly get a frostbite.
I think it's made for Fi. I just don't see where. Because it's an instant, right? And it's designed not to break the chain to gain resources, so you're not breaking your chain link and stuff like that. So I think it's genuinely designed for Fi. I just can't see where it fits in with the cards that we've been given.
You see, I would make the exact opposite argument. I think it's more made for Dromai. Pitching into this is going to generate you Ash. The first card you pitch is going to generate you Ash. And the instance it's still relevant because Dromai doesn't really want to break the chain either, because she can still play these rupture cards just as easily, and she can then attack with her Ash Wings.
That's a point.
So I think it's probably going to see more play in Dromai where pitching those reds is more important, and this will just be a nice way to generate you a bit more, get you an Ash maybe before you actually need to convert it into a dragon to play the invocation. It'll give you something to pitch into after you've played a red. So yeah, I think that's where it's going to see more play. I'm not sold on it being for fire, apart from the fact that it's just that 2-block temper.
I mean, I can imagine there's a piece of equipment for Ninja that you are probably a bit more sold on, George, with the new arm piece.
Oh, now they are really good.
Shuko.
You fancy yourself some Shukos?
I want to get hold of some of those Shukos. Not gonna lie.
Only if he remembers his trigger.
I mean, I don't care. I just want some.
I think once they're on the board, I think
that'll help.
Probably remember rather than
when they don't look like breaking scales. I'll probably have a better chance at least of remembering. But yeah, no, they seem like a really good card. I mean, again, just being a 2-block is great. But just having a constant effect that's just going to keep giving you a small buff. You're always on a 5 turn, pretty much always going to play 2 cards with 2 or less base attack. So it's great. The damage prevention effect isn't going to kick in often, but when it does, it's going to be good.
Yeah, like I say, the classic interaction, as we found out with Rune Chance with Swarming Gloomveil, that if there is a little prism running around, they got a load of shields, this would pop every shield.
Yeah, and I think it makes it a little bit more achievable to do it than that as well, just because you could look at attack reacting just a Phoenix Flame over the top, an unassuming Phoenix Flame for 2. They come in with a 2-block that might be like one of the the auras or anything like that block for 2, and you just attack react it over the top, and then every shield that they're trying to protect there is just gone, and they still take the damage.
Oh god, that with the new reactions, just give it +1 and then banish the card that they were trying to defend with anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Would be very, very brutal, which would be good. Like I say, just removes all those shields, gets rid of that. Really puts them on the back foot, I feel like, at that point.
I mean, we did also, speaking of Dromai Fi and the Furnace, we did actually get the joint specializations as well, which is like the whole rupture mechanic. Which, having been hit by Rise Up today, I don't like it. It's nasty.
So is it only Red Hot that's the joint specialization,
No,
or is it? Or is it
Red
both?
Hot and Rise Up are both.
They both are.
Yeah, both Dromai and Fi specializations.
Yeah, Rise Up. I'm a big fan of. I'm not sure how much you'll see playing Dromai, but Fi is very good with this card.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're probably more designed for one than the other, but they can both make use of it. Obviously, Red Hot is the damage dealing one, which I think again you hit me with that as well. That was rude.
I think I did, yeah. That one I did find a little bit difficult to actually get into play quite a bit. I think I ended up cutting that in some of the later rounds.
It is a 2 cost, which again, Fi's a bit of a scrounger. He doesn't like paying for anything. So
yeah, at the end of the chain as well, that feels a little bit expensive. But Rise Up just felt great. I think there was a turn, in fact, where I could have if my turn had lined up slightly nice, I think I could have used Rise Up on you twice, which would have been quite disgusting.
Yeah, it would have been. I wouldn't have been pleased, I'll be honest. But I think Red Hot might be a way of ending some games. You reveal enough cards, just deal that amount of damage, game over.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's unpreventable, right? It's not arcane. It's just
unless
damage.
unless you quell it.
Yes, unless you've got some form of damage prevention, then
Or the new Oasis Respite as well.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That
so like I say, any
prevents
form of
all.
damage prevention will do the trick.
Suddenly, it's the day of the bonehead barrier.
I'm not sure we've seen that day yet. I'm sorry, Adam. I don't care what you say.
Oh, don't ruin his dreams.
So he still thinks fucking Fangs a lot's coming in a set.
Oh, God loves a dreamer. Right, should we move on to the non-draconic hero? I'd probably say it's probably the hero I really don't know how it's going to perform.
I was going to say, I think you might be the most experienced person among us to talk
Oh,
about
right.
Iceland and
I
Outcrust.
mean, this is the one where, do you know when a lot of content creators and podcasts will be really trying to hype shit up, and I'm like, I fucking hate Wizard. I don't like playing it. I don't like playing with it. I don't like playing against it. I just don't like it. I pulled the Coronet's Peak, like the ice thing, which I don't understand why it's good. I know, again, Adam, I know you love it. I don't understand. It's not got go again.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes it.
No.
I think I'm getting that impression as well, mate. It does seem like he's not a big fan of it.
Now, I will add a caveat into this of I think got him. But I think in CC and just constructed in general, when you can get just the good ice cards, like your Channel Oblique Expanses, if you think that's good, or Channel Lake Frigid, or Blizzard, or whatever it is, and you can sit them in your arsenal when you need to. I think you might find a place where she can do something, but I'll say I'm skeptical, just rather than hopeful with her. But I think some of the cards she's got are gonna do some nasty shit to some people.
I mean, probably, but I'm not sold on Iceland at the moment. I don't think.
So why are you not sold? I mean, I
don't
like
think
Wizards.
it's going to be as consistent as people think it is. Like, it's not like Ice Lexi firing and blizzard bolts at you over and over again, revealing over and over again. Like, it has to be a blue, has to be an ice card from the arsenal on your turn to give you the frostbite to be disruptive. And then they have to be able to arsenal a blue card again the next turn, as well as do damage to you. And there just isn't enough damage in Icelander, I don't think. It's not Kano. No, it's not Eva Wildfire into whatever that comes next, into the 15 million instance that comes after it.
And then
Doing
Blazing
600 and, yeah, that one, all that shit. It's
No,
not that.
No, I think she's far more of like. It feels like she's designed to be more of a hero that chips away at this, and maybe we need to get one of our local wizards on to educate us in why we're idiots. But you look at a card like Frost Hex and her new Ice Eternal, the specialization. Like they sound really powerful and really good, and I'm sure they can be.
Mm.
But the amount of damage I feel like you're going to have to tank to be able to actually do that, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah, Frost Hex it does seem like one of those cards that sounds amazing until you read it a second time.
Or you play it.
And then it seems good, but not great and hard to pull off.
No, and I just go through her pool, and again, like Insidious Chill, I saw someone playing that today, and that can be really damaging to some heroes if it comes in and then they start fusing it or fusing attacks and it's just a constant winter's bite or hypothermia or checking on the bleak expanse. I think can really hurt some heroes, but I can just see it being so situational.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the hypothermia does seem very good for her. Getting around the idea that, you obviously don't need to go again on it, and it coming in for free and just shutting down someone's turn seems great. Particularly in a sealed environment, that seems like it's just going to be a card that is just going to frustrate both of the heroes.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, I don't know how good she's going to be. Whether she's going to have enough damage. She does seem like she's just very card hungry.
Very.
She wants 2 cards on your turn, 2 cards on her turn.
And I think you look at Waning Moon, her new weapon. I know we've had discussions there about whether she's going to use that or Kraken, especially with the new chest piece that can obviously reduce a staff by 3. I think we've settled. I think even I've settled on the fact that Kraken's probably not the right way to go. But
yeah, I know you were quite on the pro Kraken train at one point, but
I really was just because it was an instant. Because there's some, like you say, because you need 2 cards on your turn, 2 cards on their turn, which leaves you very little room to block. It just felt expensive and a bit clunky at times to try and use the Waning Moon because you have to play a non-attack action to actually use it. So yeah, I am very skeptical of where she sits, but I can guarantee you there'll be a game. I'm sat there, got all my charges done as Bolton, and then next thing I know, I can't do anything because they'll play Hypothermia. Attacks I control can't get go again, so I can't give my Sabres go again, and my turn is dead. And
she's
there's
definitely
nothing
seen
you can do
some
about it.
plays.
Yeah.
Some plays like that. They do seem very good. I mean, there's definitely some good cards in this as well. I think Insidious Chill could be very good. It seems like a perfect Icelander card again. Just this ice action that's going to come out of your arsenal. Give them a frostbite. Yes, it's expensive and doesn't have go again, but she doesn't really care too much.
Mm.
And I think she's got some good. She's got some good cards. There's even some nice ice cards that I'm quite excited to try in Lexi, but I think on the whole, I'm not exactly seeing how she's gonna play into the meta, particularly at the CC level.
Yeah, like I say, I think she's got the biggest question mark against me. I don't think she's going to be tier 1, but I think if someone somewhere, some crazy wizard fool, I can see cracking it and it just being an absolute nightmare to play against. But and then we sort of look at our generic pools. Obviously they got the Constellus thing, which again we've kind of discussed that already. But I think there's some really cool M's in this set. I mean, I know Liam, you've got a personal favourite from the generic M's.
Oh, good old erase face.
A little bit of erase face.
I love a bit of erase face. I'm not gonna lie. That card is very good into. I mean, that's a selection of heroes, we'll say, but it's good.
Yeah,
I'm going to go so far to say I think it's very good. Erase face seems great.
I mean, it's a 2 for 6. It's a popper if you're playing against Prism or Dromai. And if you hit fire with that, and you suddenly nothing is a draconic chain link.
Yeah, I can imagine that feeling pretty bad.
That's going to feel pretty sad. If back in the day, if you'd hit a chain with this and nothing's a shadow card, you can't. Everything's stuck in their banish zone for a turn.
I think people are going to find it hard to fit erase face and CNC in the decks. I think they're going to be picking one or the other. I think the one deck that gets around it is Briar, because all I did was drop my 2 defense reactions and an Arcanic Shockwave, right? And now I've got 3 CNCs, 3 Runic, and 3 Erase Face. And I can just throw all in my sideboard so they can just come in out when they please. They're not actually clogging my deck up.
Yeah, you're still not going to play both at the same time, right? It'll probably be swap one out for the other.
It should be one. The only time I'm playing both of them is Prism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That's because one targets the Arsenal and one can remove the Illusionist tag and Light tag and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they both pop.
Yeah, no, seems great into Prism by all means. I think another card worth mentioning though has got to be That All You Got. I mean, that's a great card.
Probably my favorite name, probably favorite reveal video. One of the best pieces of art. Again, I can see it being. It's not bad. It's a 0. I mean, it's a 0 for 3 defense reaction. But it's a 0/3 bottom defense reaction. But obviously, the effect of if you can block with an attack that's got 2 or less attacks, then you draw a card. I think that's going to be great into Fi.
When the combat chain closes, though, as you found out today.
As I found out today. Yes, thank you for reminding me, George.
No problem, mate. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, this is a defense reaction that an aggro deck's actually going to want to play, which is amazing, really. It's going to be sideboard obviously, because some people. I mean, you're not going to be running this into Bravo, right? I mean, he's always going to come at you for more than 3, more than 2. So why would you bother? But in the right matchup, I think it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
I think I'd want 3.
I think Vipox is a really weird card, the one where if it hits, they lose health equals 100 cards in the hand and stuff like
Yeah, I'm
It's
really
one of,
not
I
sure
think
who
it's one of
plays that.
those where you throw it at the end of a chain after your opponent doesn't block, and it's like if this does 1, it's going to deal 5.
Yeah, if you do that into Bolton when they've got the whole combo in hand, you're like, oh, for God's sake, this is hitting me for 5. I don't want it, and you know you can reduce it, but
I wish it wasn't 1 attack. I wish it was a little bit more.
yeah. But then you got cards like Fog Down. God knows where they're going to sit, but can really shut down some decks like your Briars.
Yeah, that seems
non-attack
great.
lose
Runeblade
go
hate.
again. Yeah. I always like to see Runeblade hate. I mean, this is the first set we haven't had a Runeblade since Arc. So we have to enjoy the good things.
Does Fog Down seem just more than a little bit expensive though?
Too expensive, way too expensive.
I think three is just too much.
Yeah,
I could have got behind. I mean, I get it. Probably should be quite pricey because it's pretty much all upside for you, right? You play it late in the chain. You've already played your non-attack actions. They lose and can't get and go again. You don't really care. You finish your combat chain out, and then it destroys at the start of your action phase. Seems great. So I think yes, you couldn't have made it really cheap or free, but 3 is just a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I think you get some decent commons and rares in this set as well. So overall,
we missed one card that we probably should talk about.
Oh, which one?
Crown of Providence.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, there was that thing, wasn't there?
So how about we get your guys' opinion on Crown of Providence?
Go on, Brooks. You haven't really gone first on this one yet.
Damn it. I quite like it. I think it's a replacement for Arcanite Skullcap. Because let's face it, no one ever really uses Skullcap for the Arcane Barrier. I mean, you do lose a block, help you draw a card. You can draw a card. By putting a card, possibly put one from your arsenal from your hand. I want to try it to see how it plays. I'm not thinking this is, an instant put it in all my decks card, but something I definitely want to try because I think it's got that potential.
Because you wasn't sold on the reveal, right?
I wasn't. I mean, when obviously in typical Arsenal Pass style, they bigging it up like it's the biggest meta breaking card that's ever been seen. I think it's a good L. I think if I've already got Arcanite Skullcap, am I really going to chase this down as is it 100% an upgrade? Probably not. It feels a bit like a sideways upgrade. Like in some matchups, I'd run 1. Or in some decks, I probably want to run that more than that. Others, I appreciate the 3 block more. I'm still not entirely sold on it, but I'm definitely not just completely discarding it as absolute trash like the Coronet's Peak or whatever it is. Which is garbage.
Yeah, well, we all agree on that one. But
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I like Crown of Providence. I think it's very good. And this is, I mean, coming with the guy who mainly plays classes, so it won't even fit it anyway.
What do you mean? Your Hydra Ranger loves a headpiece.
I mean, I'm really desperate for another legendary piece of headgear in my sideboard. But to be fair, I mean, if one of these happened to find its way into one of my boxes that I open, I would definitely not be sad, and I might even find space for it in my Ranger deck. To be fair, may consider running that over the Honing Hood for like aggro matchups because it just seems like the perfect aggro like headpiece to have because you just are able to block, cycle that card, find a better hand. Take the card out of Arsenal that's not effective, or just like cycle a card from hand. It just seems great. Seems absolutely perfect for that.
Oh, I never thought I'd hear that. Jesus.
I mean,
take it out of the Honing Hood.
Take it out of Honing Hood.
I said consider because
but George, I need
another legendary headpiece.
You do need another legendary headpiece, but I'm not sure you'd know what to do if you had 2 pieces of equipment that block.
I mean, I think I'd manage, mate. To be honest,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm telling you, I'll be okay.
I mean, I heard lots of shouts of "coward" from behind me while we were playing today, as people tried to block. So,
Well, I was having fun. What can I say?
but yeah, I mean, is there any other particular cards you think we've missed, chaps, or any that you really have a urge to go over? I mean, like I said, I just love the art and erase face. It just makes me laugh and think of One Punch Man, which is one of my favourite animes. We've not really covered Quell as a thing, but I think it
It's
just
just
is what it
damage
is.
prevention, right? It's just just the keynote is to make sure that you are aware that it works more than once in the turn that you're using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like that it's just there for as an option for draft for sealed. So I think it's nice to have some sort of damage prevention like that on equipment. I actually think it's worth as well mentioning the token headpiece Helios emitter as well. I think it's a really cool thing to have a piece of equipment that everybody's just going to have access to in draft and sealed. It has a reasonable effect without being great.
And obviously, it's worth noting again on that. You can actually activate that multiple times on that one source.
You can, yes. That was the way we were told about it in Madrid. So yeah, it seems like you can, which I think is useful to know.
Yeah,
But,
I'd say it's a set that I'm really, really looking. I think they've done a cracking job on some of the alt arts. I mean, I think my favourite one I've seen is probably, even though it's a wizard card, and you know I love wizard.
Rewind.
Was rewind, like the upside down art in it, and then the words being backwards. Obviously, because it's rewind, I thought was an absolute stroke of genius. I think the ice cards look phenomenal with the foiling. I think the Marvel Dragons look absolutely amazing. Except for Asvalai, which I think actually looks almost too busy and too shiny, which I never thought I'd say about a card.
You're just wrong.
No, it's too busy, mate. There's just too much going on.
I
mean,
someone played it against me. I couldn't even see what the card did. There was that much shine going on.
I'm going to neither disagree or agree on this one, but I am going to say Liam's never going to take a criticism of a dragon.
Exactly
yeah,
right.
True.
That's fair. I've got an interesting point though. Actually,
go on. What's your
what do
point?
you think to the Scar for Scar reprint?
I mean, I like seeing it. It's great, fantastic cut. I just would have maybe liked some new art on it.
Yeah, if it was a different artwork, I mean, let's face it, Scar for a Scar. Did it get reprinted in the history packs?
That's a good question. I believe it did, but I'll double check.
I mean, I think it did, and that made me far less excited. I don't want to see, as much as it's probably one of the most powerful, most played common cards in the game. I don't really want to see it again.
I mean, I think if they were gonna, if they knew they're gonna reprint it in this, they could have left it out the history packs if it did include it.
Yeah.
Just because it makes perfect sense to have in a draft set, right? Like it's a fantastic draft card, absolutely amazing, particularly for Icelander who starts on less life. This just reads as an immediate 0 for 4 go again.
Oh, when she does that and she's got access to like Oasis Respite to prevent 4 damage and then gain a life as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not entirely against it. I mean, I'm properly sitting on the fence on it because I do like Scar.
Yeah, well, it was printed in the history packs as well.
Yeah, I mean that makes me a bit more sad about the fact it's been put in the set. To be honest.
Yeah, I think they could have given it a miss, given they were gonna reprint it here. But the one thing I will say, I mean, this is the first time we've seen a reprint of a common card, just entirely. As far as it comes to the top of comes off the top of my head at the moment. I think it's nice to see that they will do that, and we can maybe expect to see more staple cards coming back in later sets.
I mean, if they're going to look at some of the proper staples like Scar, I imagine we'll get Fates again. I can imagine we'll get Sync Willows again.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
That was always what I thought the history packs were for, to be honest. So I don't know. I'm not against it because I can completely see the point, especially for draft. Obviously, for people who've got collections, they're not going to be as bothered about it. But
to be honest, I think if they were going to reprint some more of the staple generics, they could have almost made history packs be nearly exclusively class cards.
Yeah.
apart from maybe like the Majestic generic cards. Just to narrow it down a bit, just to mean that you've got access to the early class cards that you've missed. But yeah, it's nice to see they actually are willing to do reprints, I guess, is the main point, though.
Yeah.
Scar's also
I
a
say
theme,
not
right? 'Cause
not against it, but
Volko's in the background, right?
meh. I'm not going to open it and get excited.
Well, no, of course not. I'm sure you got plenty of Scars sitting around.
Yeah, it's like when we did all the drafts, and when people just leaving all the cards around, going, "Oh no, that's a red Sync Willow. I'm taking that." Because I know that people are going to need those in the future.
Well, here's hoping. Maybe not now. Maybe at some point, like you say, they'll give it a reprint, and people won't be having to look around for them.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think as a final point, I mean, what do you think if you're going to rate the set out of 10? What
Go
would
on,
you?
Liam. Oh, is he? Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Okay. I guess I'd give it an 8 for the moment. I'm not sure yet where I'm at. I would want to probably try it more as what the draft experience is like, more than just the one time before I give it a higher rating. I think it looks really interesting. We've got some powerful cards that I think we'll actually see some play in CC. Some new generics. I might have liked to have seen a couple more generic cards that I think will be impactful. There's only a few, but then I suppose that's part of being a draft set. Is that there'll be a lot of those that are just in there for the draft and sealed format.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little bit higher than that. I'm probably about a 9. I really like the mechanic of. I really like the dragons and burn them all, and the idea of having this really cool board to look at. Like back in the days when I was playing Dash, and you're building the pistol until this thing's like a bloody cannon that you're just hitting people with, and it's brilliant. But and the few times I've played Fi, it's not just. He is actually really fun to play.
Yeah, just genuinely enjoyable.
Just how making sure you sequence your turn to try and get the most value out of dragging a Phoenix Flame out your arsenal, or not out your arsenal, out your graveyard, or out your deck, and trying to just do it for as cheap as possible with his ability. And then I think someone even I think it might have been you, George, even closed the chain early to be able to just recur it back again and hit with the same feat. It's like getting hit by an endless arrow, which except you haven't got the choice on endless arrow. You know you can block it out and it's not going to hit you again. Whereas
yes.
Phoenix Flame, you haven't got a choice. So
no. I think it's really enjoyable to play. Like you say, I think I am excited for the set. My rating's probably slightly tempered by as well, but the fact that I think they might have gone a little too heavy on the dragons. I think I preferred a little fewer in number.
I can agree on that. But the thing that I do like is when I look at all the cards that my biggest fears, and the ones that we said, I think, on a previous episode, I can't remember exactly what we said, there isn't anything really that I think a Prism's going to pick up and it's going to make them stupid. A Ghostly Touch, I don't think it adds really much to the game plan. Even having a Frightmare, which is ridiculously, as a 13 cost, I don't think it's going to see much play. Semblance, like them having a negate effect is kind of scary, but
I think Semblance might be the only card that I think among these really is going to see, might actually see play for Prism. Again, whether it actually sees enough, because it depends how aggro they're going to be. Obviously, most are on the Aura plan right now, so it probably doesn't really fit into their game plan. But I think Frightmare's worth touching on, just because is that got to be the saddest M to open in a limited experience, right? Like that card is pretty much unplayable for Dromai.
Yeah, well, I don't think she can play it.
I mean, she'd need, because I know they've got the silent stilettos, the generic, the illusionist equipment, the common illusionist equipment that can allow you to reclaim your action point after an attack action card loses, or an ally rather dies to Phantasm. But you have to pay 3 for that. You have to have played an attack that's probably cost you 1, and then you've got to pitch another 3 for Frightmare. it just seems like a massive amount of work to do to try and to get that off.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
think-
don't have those, it's literally unplayable,
Yeah, I mean,
and it doesn't block.
It's interesting because I don't think Dromai runs it. Whether Dromai runs Phantasmal Footsteps, just because she's got a lot of she has got a lot of Phantasm attacks to actually just try and create Ash. Then I can see her doing that. Also, she can pitch one into them, which creates her an Ash, and blocking for one because there's a lot of stuff that isn't going to get to 6. I just think Transmogrify was the one that was sad. It seemed so good, but actually very limited in terms of what it can add to.
Yeah. I don't think it's a great card. It feels like 95% of cases, Phantasmify is just going to be better, right? It just there might be some few educations where it's not. I think it's just another card that can potentially buff an aggro illusionist build. That's not what people are running right now, but in the world where they do, I guess it's basically another copy of Phantasmify almost, where you can just buff a non-illusionist attack to some stupid level.
Yeah, but like I said, I think they'd have to try and definitely making excuses to try and put these in rather than them going. This is like some of the M's from Everfest. They would just auto include. They were just good. The auras were just good. So I'm glad that she's got stuff that actually you look at it and go, I don't think they're going to make space for this. An illusionist in the future might.
Yes, I think they might well.
But I don't think any of this particularly buffs Prism, which always makes me happy.
No, not particularly with the way that they're playing right now. I just don't think it does at all. I do think, though, talking of how some of the new cards actually buff old classes, I think Katsu gets a fair bit from some of the ninja attacks in this set. Double Strike seems great. Tame the Tempo. It's just it's Break Tide, but without all the shenanigans of having to play what's a pretty bad combo line on the whole.
Yeah, I can't see him playing Rapid Reflex though.
No, Rapid Reflex is just on the whole. It's just a bad Razor Reflex, right? I mean, yes, it blocks for 3, but having the cost 0 restriction on it, I think, just feels one step too far for me.
It'd make more sense to me if it costs 0, if it's only 0 cost attacks. But then again,
I think at that point, I could see maybe they didn't want to do that, but still, I think it's too much to cost 1 to not give an extra effect, to only be able to target 0 attacks and still only go plus 3.
Yeah,
and all of that basically because it can block 3.
Yeah, I mean, I look
a great upside.
I mean, obviously, with my warrior hat on, I compare it to something like a Iron Song Response Red, which is conditional, like this is, in terms of reprise for +3 on a weapon. But even that's free, and that blocks 3.
Oh yeah, I think I'd compare it to something like Stroke, right? Like that has an upside in certain conditions, but always gives you the +3 and it's the same cost. This is just worse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It sits somewhere between. It feels like it should have the cost of a response because of because the conditions have been placed under, but it acts more like a Stroke, a Foresight, or an Out for Blood, which is just nowhere near as good. So, but I think regardless, I think he's going to play 3 copies of Double Strike, whether he plays Take the Tempo or not.
Yes,
that remains to be seen. But I love this Tiger Stripe Shuko, which whether he runs it over breaking scales, or probably not.
I'm not sure, to be honest. That'll be one I think that needs exploring. I think Fi definitely runs it. I'm not so certain. Not so certain if Katsu does quite yet, but I think, and back to your point about Prism as well. Actually, one thing I really like of this set is that Kano didn't really get much in the way of tools. Rewind looks like it will be crazy and fun, but for some people at least.
Yeah, like the new Toma Duplicity, I can't see him running. It's probably just too expensive. Dampen, I can't see him running. Maybe Aether Dart, but that's just a zap. It's just a zap with updated wording, just so it can hit anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see some bits like that. Maybe Singe in case he wants to tech in for something, but
Singe is pretty much just for Dromai, right? It's an anti-Dromai card. May have to be in the sideboard if we actually see Dromai C in play.
Yeah.
If we don't, probably never even gets a look in.
Yeah, so I think he got some sideboard cards. He'll probably replace, let's say, Aether Dart will replace Zap, just because he can then hit anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's really about it for him. So I like how they managed to really give them their own identity this set, rather than kind of leaning into the old stuff. Like I say, I think Rewind's probably the only thing he gets that he's really going to want to use. I don't know, maybe they have Alluvian Constellus.
Yeah, I mean, that might see playing like the Mirror, or anyone who's going to do Arcane.
But yeah, so, I mean, I don't think there's much more to cover off with Uprising, except for I'm just really, really looking forward to actually cracking some more paper packs, and hopefully pulling a couple of L's and some of these Marvel Dragons, because they do look gorgeous, except for Asvalai, which is just too shiny.
I think that's one thing that's probably worth saying before we do finish on upon it as well, is to start with, I think the paper packs, again, great, just as good as they were in Uprising. I think that's fantastic. They're continuing on with that. And also, I think that just with everything that LSS has done really well with Uprising, I really like the new, having the cold foils in the token slot. A lot of the pack construction just seems very good, and the way that works in draft. I'll be interested to see what their solution is with regards to like drafting a double-sided card when James White's interview comes out. I think in the end of the week.
Yeah, I think Big Whitey said there's going to be an article about how draft should work with double-sided dragons, because I think Magic, you announce it and everyone knows it's there and you cover it, but obviously you've got this little token thing, so maybe you have to call a judge and mark it, but then obviously everyone knows that there's a dragon in that pack. So I think there's going to be a little bit of to-ing and fro-ing with it as they work out what the best thing is, because it does fundamentally change how draft packs work. So,
but yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting. But yeah, just wanted to really get across the point. I think that there's been some really positive changes in this set in the whole, and just they've continued doing the things they did from Everfest that I think that were good.
Yeah, like I say, I think the biggest upgrade for the draft stuff is the fact they've moved the cold foil into a token slot, so you're not going to have the I want to draft this. I'm not drafting this class, but I kind of have to because it's an L or it's a like Majestic or whatever, or it's a nice art piece that you want to keep. So really positive, really looking forward to it, and just hoping that Icelander doesn't become this force that I have to deal with, because I just like playing. I don't like having to look at Frostbites and going, well, that's my turn over before it's even started.
Yeah, I know that's going to make you very miserable.
Yeah, it will. Just like Oldhim does. But no, I think that's really all from us. Obviously, you've heard a lot from us this week, so hopefully our next podcast will be talking all about our actual experience of getting our hands on the cards, cracking them, and trying to actually build a deck. So exciting times, and all the RTNs and stuff. And in fact, we've got pre-release, then it's RTNs first. So
yes, the fab schedule never slows down.
No, well, as I think we said last step, or at least I said, that train ain't stopping.
No, it certainly isn't. So it's gonna keep going. It seems like a very full schedule. So yeah, I guess in the next time we record again, be a couple of weeks' time, I presume, and we'll probably be looking at how we did over the pre-release and looking forward to the RTN season on the whole.
Well, no, thank you very much, George. Thank you very much, Liam, who I know has had some internet difficulties. So yeah, that's why he's been a bit quiet. It's not that he's been quiet; he just can't actually get on. So. Thanks to the three of us, and again, thanks to everyone who's said some nice things on Twitter after the weekend. But thank you very much, George, and thank you everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.